Greetings, this is Karni Zor, and I'm here with my astrological forecast to tell you a bit about how the planets affect our lives these days. So, there are two very special things that happen now in the skies and in our lives that need our attention. One is the opposition between Uranus on one hand, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars on the other hand. And the other thing that we'll talk about is the conjunction of Venus and the center of the galaxy. So, two very huge things. Let's see how they affect us these days. So, let's start with the opposition of Uranus on one hand and the Sun, Mercury, and Mars on the other hand. Last week, I talked to you about the opposition between Uranus and the Sun, which happens once a year and is a very unique gateway. So everything continues from week, but goes into extreme because now also Mercury and Mars are involved in this opposition. So Mercury is the planet of our thoughts, Mars is the planet of our actions, and the Sun is, of course, the center of our being. And they are all this week in opposition with Uranus, which is the planet of innovation and creativity, the original new things, but also it is a very radical planet. This cosmic gateway has a good side to know and a bad side to also notice and be mindful of. So, the good part of this opposition is that we can be very creative, create new things during this week, and that the distance between our thoughts and creating things, the reality of Mars, of the actual action, is very, very short these days. It's a very good time to create new ideas, new platforms, to bring your original things out into the world. You might be very, very creative, but not only in your mind. Actually, go and do these amazing, creative, new, original things. But Uranus is a very, very tricky planet because if you go to the extreme, if you do the extra step, it can also ruin things. So, this is what we want to be really, really mindful about, which is keeping our balances, not being too afraid and not creating new things because it is the time for that, but being very, very mindful of keeping our balances and not going over the edge. So, this is one thing to be very, very mindful of. By the way, during this time, Uranus is a planet that doesn't only talk about our own lives, it talks about worldwide effects. So we can see radical things, we can see new things happening during this week, but also we can see some destruction and startling things happening, mainly to do with individuals' rights. So let's be mindful, and also the media, because when Uranus and Mercury are involved, both have to do with the media. We already had the fall of Facebook and WhatsApp a few weeks ago. So let's be mindful of these a bit shocking things that might happen in the world. When we know about it, we can take it easier because it's all about having our own balance against what is happening in the world. So this is one thing. Other thing requires a whole different tone. So the other thing is the beautiful transit of planet Venus just over the center of the galaxy that happens also once a year and also happens this week. Venus is the planet of love, of harmony, of beauty, and of femininity. And the fact that it now transits the center of the galaxy, which can't be seen with our eyes, but it is there many, many light years from Venus, um, talks about a unique cosmic gateway, first of all, to do with love. So, if you are seeking for love, this is a beautiful time when love is enhanced, it's more possible, and it's a beautiful time to really fall in love and start a new relationship. It's more possible these days than usual. But the other thing Venus talks about, which is maybe even more important from the love of a couple to someone else, is the love to ourselves. And this goes mainly for women because Venus is the planet of femininity. It's also the only feminine planet apart from Mother Earth out there in the skies. So Venus talks about the ability of women to connect to their own beauty, their own femininity, to be in harmony with themselves, with their body. This is absolutely important during these times when we are bombarded with ideas of how we should be as women. But this is really the time to go into a cleaner, higher place in us and reignite the love to ourselves and to make this new relationship with ourselves, finding love to ourselves, to our body, and bringing more harmony and balance into our lives. This is so, so, so important during these days. And last and not least, the next possibility to meet in person is in the amazing Costa Rica retreat, which will start February 1st. So if you want to open your eyes in Costa Rica on February 2nd, 2022, which is 2 then make sure that you look for all the details about the coming retreat again on my site in astrology.com, and I would be glad to give you all the information about it and see you there. So again, two things very different to be mindful of during the coming week: the opposition between Uranus, Mercury, Mars, and the Sun, which talks about the creation of new things, but also this is just something from my garden, little seed. So maybe it talks about seeds that can be planted of new ideas during this time, but very fast the ideas can also become actions during this week, as long as we are keeping our balances and not going over the edge with things. The other thing is the beautiful cosmic gateway of Venus in alignment to the center of the galaxy as it transits it, and that opens to us the possibility of reconnecting to loving ourselves and the possibility of love in our lives. Have a wonderful time. If you're not following me yet, please make sure you're following my Facebook account, my Instagram account, and on my site, which is a newastrology.com, you can also register to get my weekly astrological forecast, which is an extra written forecast specifically according to your birth date every week to your email. So make sure that you register to that, and we will continue to be in touch. Bye bye.